Public policy is a term we often hear, but what does it really mean? At its core, public policy refers to the actions and decisions taken by governments to address issues within society. These can range from healthcare and education to transportation and the environment. Public policy shapes the rules and guidelines that impact our daily lives, aiming to solve problems and improve the well-being of citizens. Understanding public policy helps us see how government decisions are made and why they matter. In this video, we'll break down the basics of public policy, explore how it's formed, and look at its impact on society. Public policy isn't just a distant concept, it affects us every day. From the quality of the roads we drive on to the safety of the food we eat, policies shape our environment and opportunities. When governments create policies, they're making choices about how resources are distributed and which issues get priority. This means that understanding public policy gives us insight into why certain problems are addressed while others may be overlooked. By learning about policy, we become more informed citizens, better able to participate in our communities and advocate for change. Public policy comes in many forms. Some policies are regulatory, setting rules that individuals and businesses must follow. Others are distributive, allocating resources like funding for schools or infrastructure. There are also redistributive policies, which aim to reduce inequality by shifting resources from one group to another, such as through social welfare programs. Each type of policy serves a different purpose and addresses specific needs within society. By understanding these categories, we can better grasp the range of tools governments use to solve problems and promote the public good. The process of making public policy is often described as a cycle. It starts with identifying a problem that needs attention. Next, policymakers develop possible solutions and choose the best course of action. Once a policy is adopted, it's implemented by government agencies. Finally, the policy is evaluated to see if it's working as intended. If not, adjustments are made and the cycle continues. This ongoing process ensures that policies remain relevant and effective in addressing society's changing needs. Every policy begins with a problem. These problems can be brought to light by citizens, interest groups, or government officials. Sometimes, a crisis or major event highlights an issue that needs immediate attention. Other times, ongoing concerns like unemployment or pollution gradually gain importance. Identifying the right problems is crucial because it sets the stage for all future policy decisions. Policymakers must determine which issues are most pressing and worthy of government action. Once a problem is identified, it must be placed on the government's agenda. This means that policymakers recognize it as an issue that needs to be addressed. Not all problems make it onto the agenda. Some are considered more urgent or politically feasible than others. Media coverage, public opinion, and advocacy by interest groups can all influence which issues rise to the top. Agenda setting is a competitive process, with many groups vying for attention and resources. After an issue is on the agenda, policymakers begin to develop possible solutions. This stage is called policy formulation. Experts, government officials, and stakeholders work together to design policies that address the problem. They consider different approaches, weigh the pros and cons, and try to predict the outcomes. The goal is to create a policy that is effective, efficient, and acceptable to the public. This stage often involves negotiation and compromise. Once a policy is formulated, it must be officially adopted. This means that a government body such as a legislature or executive agency approves the policy and gives it legal force. Policy adoption can be straightforward or highly contentious, depending on the issue and the level of agreement among decision makers. Sometimes, policies are adopted quickly in response to urgent problems. Other times, the process involves lengthy debates and revision. After a policy is adopted, it must be put into action. This is the implementation stage. Government agencies and officials are responsible for carrying out the policy's provisions. Implementation can be complex, involving new programs, regulations, or changes to existing systems. Success depends on clear instructions, adequate resources, and cooperation from those affected by the policy. Sometimes unexpected challenges arise, requiring adjustments along the way. Final stage of the policy cycle is evaluation. Policymakers and analysts assess whether the policy is achieving its goals. They collect data, review outcomes, and listen to feedback from the public. If the policy isn't working as intended, changes may be needed. Evaluation helps ensure that policies remain effective and responsive to society's needs. It also provides valuable lessons for future policy decisions. Public policy is made by a variety of actors. Elected officials such as legislators and presidents play a central role, but many others are involved, including government agencies, judges, and even private organizations. Interest groups, experts, and ordinary citizens can all influence policy decisions through advocacy and participation. Understanding who makes policy helps us see the many voices and interests at play in shaping our society. Public policy is made at different levels of government. National governments create policies that affect the entire country, such as defense or immigration. State or provincial governments handle issues like education and transportation. Local governments address community needs such as zoning or public safety. Each level has its own responsibilities and powers, but they often work together to solve complex problems. Interest groups are organizations that advocate for specific causes or policies. They play a significant role in shaping public policy by lobbying government officials, providing information, and mobilizing public support. Interest groups can represent businesses, workers, environmentalists, or other segments of society. Their influence depends on their resources, organization, and ability to persuade policymakers. Media plays a crucial role in public policy by informing the public, shaping opinions, and holding officials accountable. News coverage can bring attention to important issues and influence which problems are prioritized. Media outlets also provide a platform for debate and discussion, helping citizens understand the implications of different policies. Free and independent media is essential for a healthy democracy. Public opinion refers to the views and attitudes of citizens on policy issues. Policymakers often pay close attention to public opinion as it can influence elections and the success of policies. Surveys, polls, and social media provide insights into what people think. While public opinion is important, it's just one factor among many that shape policy decisions. Policy analysis is the process of evaluating policy options and their potential impacts. Analysts use data, research, and models to predict outcomes and recommend the best course of action. Good policy analysis helps ensure that decisions are based on evidence rather than guesswork. It also helps identify unintended consequences and trade-offs. Governments use a variety of tools or instruments to implement policy. These include laws and regulations, taxes and subsidies, public education campaigns, and direct provision of services. The choice of instrument depends on the problem being addressed and the desired outcomes. Each tool has its strengths and limitations. Regulatory policies set rules that individuals and organizations must follow. These rules are designed to protect public health, safety, and the environment. Examples include food safety standards, pollution limits, and workplace regulations. Regulatory policies are enforced by government agencies and can have a significant impact on society. Distributive policies allocate resources to specific groups or projects. These policies often fund public goods like roads, schools, and research. The goal is to promote economic development and improve quality of life. Distributive policies are usually less controversial because they provide benefits to many people. Redistributive policies aim to reduce inequality by shifting resources from one group to another. Examples include progressive taxation and social welfare programs. These policies can be more controversial as they involve trade-offs between different interests. The goal is to create a fairer society by helping those in need. Economic policy includes decisions about taxes, government spending, and regulation of markets. These policies aim to promote growth, control inflation, and reduce unemployment. Economic policy can have wide-ranging effects on businesses, workers, and consumers. It's a key tool for managing the overall health of the economy. Social policy focuses on issues like healthcare, education, housing, and welfare. These policies aim to improve quality of life and ensure equal opportunities for all citizens. Social policy can address problems like poverty, discrimination, and access to services. It reflects a society's values and priorities. Environmental policy aims to protect natural resources and promote sustainability. Governments use laws and regulations to limit pollution, conserve wildlife, and encourage renewable energy. Environmental policy is increasingly important as societies face challenges like climate change and resource depletion. Foreign policy refers to a government's strategy for dealing with other countries. It includes diplomacy, trade agreements, and military alliances. Foreign policy decisions can affect national security, economic growth, and international relations. Governments must balance their own interests with global responsibilities. Making public policy is rarely easy. Policymakers face challenges like limited resources, conflicting interests, and uncertainty about outcomes. Some problems are complex and require cooperation across different levels of government. Others involve trade-off between short-term needs and long-term goals. Understanding these challenges helps explain why policy decisions can be difficult and controversial. Despite the challenges, public policy has led to many successes. Examples include reducing disease through vaccination programs, improving education access, and building safer infrastructure. Successful policies often result from careful planning, strong leadership, and public support. They show how government action can make a positive difference in people's lives. Not all policies achieve their goals. Sometimes, policies fail because of poor design, lack of resources, or unforeseen consequences. Policy failures can lead to wasted money, public frustration, and loss of trust in government. Learning from these failures is essential for improving future policies and avoiding similar mistakes. When policies aren't working, reform may be needed. Policy reform involves making changes to existing laws, regulations, or programs to improve their effectiveness. Reforms can be driven by new evidence, changing public needs, or political pressure. Successful reform requires careful analysis and broad support. Citizens play a vital role in public policy. They can participate by voting, contacting officials, joining interest groups, or attending public meetings. Citizen involvement helps ensure that policies reflect the needs and values of the community. Active participation strengthens democracy and leads to better outcomes. Transparency means that government actions and decisions are open to public scrutiny. Transparent policy processes build trust and accountability. Citizens can see how decisions are made, who is involved, and what information is used. Transparency also helps prevent corruption and ensures that policies serve the public interest. Accountability means that policymakers are responsible for their actions and decisions. If a policy fails or causes harm, officials must explain why and take steps to fix the problem. Accountability mechanisms include elections, audits, and oversight by independent bodies. Strong accountability helps ensure that policies are effective and fair. Ethical considerations are central to public policy. Policymakers must balance competing values such as fairness, efficiency, and respect for individual rights. Ethical dilemmas can arise when policies benefit some groups but harm others. Clear ethical guidelines help ensure that policies are just and respect the dignity of all citizens. Technology is changing the way policies are made and implemented. Digital tools allow for better data collection, analysis, and communication. Technology can also create new policy challenges such as privacy concerns and cybersecurity threats. Policymakers must adapt to these changes to ensure effective governance. Globalization means that countries are more connected than ever before. This affects public policy by creating new opportunities and challenges. Issues like trade, migration, and climate change require international cooperation. Policymakers must consider global trends and work with other countries to solve shared problems. Equity means ensuring that everyone has a fair chance to succeed. Public policies can promote equity by addressing barriers faced by disadvantaged groups. This includes policies on education, healthcare, and employment. Promoting equity helps create a more just and inclusive society. Innovation is essential for solving new and complex problems. Public policy can encourage innovation by supporting research, entrepreneurship, and creative solutions. Innovative policies help societies adapt to change and seize new opportunities. Governments must balance risk and reward when promoting innovation. Sustainability means meeting today's needs without compromising the future. Public policies can promote sustainability by protecting the environment, conserving resources, and encouraging responsible consumption. Sustainable policies help ensure that future generations can thrive. Crises like natural disasters, pandemics, or economic shocks require quick and effective policy responses. Crisis management policies focus on preparedness, response, and recovery. Good crisis policies save lives, protect communities, and help societies recover more quickly. Education policy shapes the quality and accessibility of learning opportunities. Policies can address issues like funding, curriculum, teacher training, and student support. Good education policy helps build a skilled workforce and informed citizens, laying the foundation for a strong society. Healthcare policy determines how medical services are provided and financed. Policies can address access, quality, cost, and public health challenges. Effective healthcare policy improves health outcomes and ensures that everyone can get the care they need. Infrastructure policy covers the planning, funding, and maintenance of public facilities like roads, bridges, and utilities. Good infrastructure policy supports economic growth, safety, and quality of life. It requires long-term planning and investment. Security policy aims to protect citizens from threats like crime, terrorism, and cyberattacks. Policies include law enforcement, intelligence, and emergency preparedness. Effective security policy balances safety with respect for individual rights. Cultural policy supports the arts, heritage, and creative industries. It helps preserve traditions, promote diversity, and encourage artistic expression. Cultural policy can also boost tourism and economic development, enriching society in many ways. Social justice policy aims to create a fair and equal society. It addresses issues like discrimination, poverty, and access to justice. Policies can include anti-discrimination laws, affirmative action, and support for marginalized groups. Social justice is a key goal of many public policies. Public policy will continue to evolve as societies face new challenges and opportunities. Advances in technology, demographic changes, and global trends will shape the issues policymakers must address. By understanding how policy works, we can all play a role in building a better future. Staying informed and engaged is the key to making sure public policy serves everyone's needs.